see it on the horizon, spray painted in black and blue. I can feel the storm winds rising. Can you feel them too?
So if you've been watching the channel for very long, then you know earlier this year we had a large maple tree taken out at one end of the garden in order to eliminate some of the shading in the area where we want to have this garden. We are on 5 acres and most of it is wooded, so there's very few open areas. The largest open area is pasture, and I'd like to preserve at least most of the pasture to be pasture. So the only other areas that are available for garden beds are smaller. I'd like to have at least one larger main garden area. So we chose an area that was already kind of clear, but there were a few maple trees. They're big leaf maples, so when they're in full leaf, it actually can block quite a lot of sunshine. So we are taking out at least 2, potentially 3 around the garden area to help with sun exposure for the garden. So earlier this year we had one of them removed already, and it sat for a while and cured. And recently we had my son and his boss, who's an arborist, come, and they used a chainsaw mill to take a couple slabs off of some of the large logs that we have here. That was really pretty cool. One of them will be eventually a mantelpiece in our living room for the fireplace with a live edge on it. But they still need to cure for some time yet before they can be finished for that purpose. So those slabs are off curing, but I'm going to insert here some footage of them using the chainsaw mill.
why you see it right here is because these two ends are heading away from each other. So you get a lot of stress built up. And so you see that stress right here come together. Right here, you get that different tone because it's dried out a lot more compared to this sapwood right here. It's very interesting. You know, that's the big difference between this side and that side. And this broke off. Started kind of getting soft before it grew over. So that's why you got this discoloration right here. It's an old broken limb. It's awesome stuff. Can't wait to flip it and see the other side.
Yeah.
And this side's so cool. I can't see how the other side's gonna quite measure up. It's just too good. Oh yeah, there's good little bits. So when you take the strip off, even this strip will have some fun to do something with. So we'll have to take off an inch.
It was really kind of a pretty cool thing to watch. Not something that, you know, you're going to do a lot of milling with because it's pretty hard work actually. But, you know, if you want to mill some of your own boards for some special projects and you don't want to take it to a mill and you don't have a large mill set up on your land or something, it's a viable option. And it was just fun to watch. That was pretty cool, and we're looking forward to having a nice large slab to do a live edge mantle in the living room. We still have a tree on this end of the garden that needs to be taken down, but his availability to come and do that is limited, and at this point I don't want to wait for that in order to get the garden started. We have enough open space now to at least get some sunshine in, right, enough that we can start. I just have to leave space for a truck to get back here and space for that tree to be felled. So we're working on the garden space next. But let me show you behind me here. This is where the first tree that was felled was, and you can see, you know, these have been trimmed, and you saw them in the video footage, and these logs need to be cleaned up, split, removed, whatever, to make even more space down here at this end, but we don't need it to start. And then the next tree that's gonna come out is over here. I don't know if you can really see it. It doesn't show very well, but it's one more that is on the south side and will block some light. So we do have to leave space for a truck and for felling the tree, but I still have plenty of room to get started. So let me turn you around and show you what's going on where the main garden area will be. So you can see behind me here 3 of the raised beds that I had built earlier this year. I had 6 total built so far, and 3 of them I originally set over on the other side of the house. I was going to just install them next to the greenhouse. I thought that was going to be a quick project so that I could still get something planted this year, and then plan to have more made for up here. It didn't turn out that way, so we will be bringing those 3 beds up here as well, and I'm going to redesign the other area and have some smaller raised beds built that will fit the space a little better. Probably we will work on this main garden area first at this point. So right now, these 3 beds and the other 3 that will be coming up here shortly will just kind of sit here until I think after Thanksgiving. I already have landscape fabric ready to roll out and secure to the ground, so I don't know, we might need to mow this down. I don't know if we'll till it again. I'm not planting directly into the ground, so I don't need to till for that reason. It's more just to break up the raspberry canes that keep regrowing, despite having dug out a whole bunch, and it's kind of ridiculous. But I don't want them to poke through the landscape fabric, so we may need to clear this space again before we put the landscape fabric down. And it is dark black landscape fabric. It's very thick, and I'm hoping that that will be enough to just keep them from regrowing. We'll see. And then we'll place the garden beds on top of the landscape fabric, and I'm going to start them in a hugelkultur style. One thing we have plenty of here is downfall, you know, from trees, branches that we've trimmed and cut, small trees we've trimmed and cut, and leaves everywhere. So we will start by filling the beds with those at least halfway, maybe a little bit more because we have plenty. And we also have some wood chips, so we'll probably use some of those that we've, you know, branches we've had chipped here, and get those started, and then evaluate how much compost or soil, etc., that we need to fill the top portions of them. The goal being that hopefully they will be ready to plant into before winter really even sets in. Not that I necessarily would, but I want them to be ready for spring. If I'm real lucky, I can still plant garlic this year. I'm really not counting on it. We'll see how it goes. And I may also make some little hoop coverings with greenhouse plastic over some of the beds and try to grow some greens through the winter. I don't know. I have lots of plans and ideas, and it seems like I think things should be reasonable in a certain amount of time, and then it turns out they're not. So that's what I'd like to do, and that's what I plan to do. It just, I don't know if it can happen this year. We're gonna try. So we'll start with this corner up here and get landscape fabric down and place the 6 beds that we have existing, and we'll get our arborist back out here as soon as possible to fell the remaining tree, and then have all these logs and stuff hauled away. Besides just garden area, I have some other plans for this end of the garden that I'm not even going to introduce to you until it makes sense, and that may not be till halfway through next year, so we'll see how that goes. That's what's up with the main garden space. We'll see you on the next video.
I know it's hard to fall asleep, but do your best, 'cause there's a place that I go to when I wanna hide from all the shades of blue. 'Cause at times I think of leaving, my mind takes me back to fall.